Well, here is the Jaguar XE. It's a car which looks smashing on the outside from whichever angle you look at it. And it's a car that you should definitely take a look at if you are in the market for a luxury car but don't want to try out the German rivals. So let's check out the interiors and see if they're as good as the outside design. Well, the Jaguar XE really does look sexy on the outside, we have to give it that, but there are a few things on the inside which aren't so great. The first is the fact that headroom over here, as you can see, is rather on the tighter side. Now, if you're about 5'10" like me, you'll be quite okay, but if you're, of course, 5'11", well, you'll just about be okay. But if you're 6, then you'll definitely have your hair brushing against the roof over here because this car has that sloping roof line. So yes, someone who's about 6 will suffer from a little bit of brushed hair automatically via this roof over here. And knee room also is at a bit of a premium. It's not the best. You get better knee room in the Audi A4 as well as the Mercedes C-Class. So that's something that buyers should also consider. And there is a huge lump in the floor panel, but that's of course there in all its other rivals. But because of this limited knee and headroom, the back seat isn't as generous as its main rivals. The seats here are excellent in terms of comfort. The support for the lower back is excellent. You get this excellent side bolstering, which means if you push this kind of corners, these seats should hold you well and you won't be dancing around in them. And the quality is absolutely first rate and at par with its other rivals, and you get all the bells and whistles in terms of the equipment. For dramatics, of course, it's Jaguar, so you get this gear knob which pops out every time you switch on this car, and when you switch it off, it goes back in. So that's the bit of drama that is there in this car. What's also good is the fact that you get this huge center console over here, which means that both the driver and the occupant is separated, and it actually does feel like you're piloting around a proper airliner. The feel, ambience as well as overall quality is very good. Well, so the Jaguar XE comes with a 2-liter petrol engine which makes about 200 bhp of power, and it does 0 to 100 kph in a shade over 7 seconds, which means that it is quite a quick car to drive. Also great about it is the fact that it's a very good driver's car. It's a very keen and focused driver's car because you get an excellent steering wheel which has very good feedback and it has the right amount of weight in it. It doesn't feel overtly light and neither does it feel overtly heavy, so you might tire yourself out. But of course, if you want to get even better driver engagement, then you should definitely choose the modes over here, and you can choose from eco mode, dynamic mode, which really does liven things up. It makes the steering wheel feel a lot more weightier than it is. It makes the chassis feel more dynamic, and it definitely makes the engine feel a whole lot more responsive and a whole lot more eager. So yes, this is the mode to drive for keener drivers, and it also makes the gauges turn red in anger. Yes, these gauges look very nice when they turn red, and in fact the gauge design of this car is very similar to the F-Type sports car. So there is a little bit of the F-Type's DNA which also percolates down to the most affordable Jaguar in the family lineup. The suspension setup on the XE, no matter which mode you choose, dynamic or eco or whichever mode you choose, is slightly on the firmer side, which means that this car will always have very pliant and very stiff ride at highway speeds, and it feels very good at those speeds. But in the city, the ride can become a little bit uncomfortable sometimes, but never overtly so. It's just that when you have to negotiate those badly patched up roads or those rumble strips, then you might feel some of those bumps and puddles enter the cabin. But apart from that, it is a nice and comfortable car for those long and fast highway speeds. Well, the other good point about this car is its phenomenal mid-range. Yes, all you have to do is just dab that accelerator pedal down and the XE simply flies. So you've got to be very careful when you're flexing your right leg, because before you know it, you could be doing speeds which are illegal on most highways in India. So you've got to be careful with that foot. Other than that, this is a great car for those long highway trips, for that occasional trip to the track. It's a great car, and it does feel very plush and opulent as well. Now, is it better than the BMW 3 Series? Well, it is almost at par with that car. There's hardly anything to pick and choose between these two cars, and both these cars are very close to each other for keen drivers. But if you call yourself a keen driver and want something different from the usual, don't want that German trio, then you should definitely check out the Jaguar XE at a dealership near you. Well, what is also great about the XE is its overall cabin ambience, and what I mean by that is the cocooning factor in this cabin. It simply isolates you from all the noises on the outside. There's hardly any tire noise. In fact, there's no tire noise, there's no wind noise, There's absolutely no engine roar. Even when you're doing speeds in excess of 100 kph, the engine is huge in terms of refinement, and that really does goes to show you the kind of engineering depth that Jaguar have put into their most affordable car. And as I just said, it's a really enjoyable car. You know precisely what the steering wheel is doing at what time and where it's doing what, so it is great in that department. Another great point about this car is the automatic gearbox. Now it is an 8-speed automatic, and it is probably one of the best gearboxes that I've ever used, because the paddle shifters over here give you a lot of engagement, and the shifts are quick, responsive, and very slick. In fact, when you're driving in automatic mode, you can't even tell when the gears are shifting. It's that good. And of course, if you decide to use it manually, like I am at the moment, then there is not even a millisecond lost. It is that good. So it is a great gearbox. It's a fantastic gearbox, and it really adds to the whole value of the Jaguar XE. As I just said, if you are a keen driver, then this is a car that you should definitely check out. Well, the Jaguar XE is perfect for you if you want a car which looks sharp on the outside, looks premium enough on the inside, and is a great car to drive as well. If you are in the market for an entry-level luxury car and don't want to buy any of its German rivals, the Jaguar XE really is an impressive all-rounder. We'll give it a strong score of 89 out of 100. It's bye for now, and thanks for watching.